Good morning, students. Today we'll start with the second story of Lost Spring. I want to drive a car. This story is about Mukesh, who lives in Firozabad and works along with his family in the Bengal industry of Firozabad. Mukesh insists on being his own master. I will be a motor mechanic, he announces. Means, when the author first meets Mukesh, he tells her that he wants to be a motor mechanic. Do you know anything about cars? I ask. I will learn to drive a car, he answers. He answered the question asked by the author that he will learn to drive a car. Looking straight into my eyes, his dream seems like a mirage. Amidst the dust of streets that fills his own town, Firozabad. Means he is the dweller of Firozabad, and the dreams that is looming in his eyes to become a motor mechanic, it is like a mirage. Mirage is a place where we think that there might be water, but it is not water. And it generally we find these mirages in Rajasthan, in deserts. So what does it mean? Means it is an impossible dream for Mukesh to fulfill. That the dream which the author looks in his eyes. Famous for its bangles. The city of Firozabad is famous for bangles. Every other family in Firozabad is engaged in making bangles. Means there is only one industry, and that is bangle. All the families in Firozabad are engaged in this industry. It is the center of India's glass bowling industry, where families have spent generations working around furnaces, welding glass, making bangles for all the women in the land, it seems. So this is the working condition in the bangle industry. They work around furnaces, hot furnaces, welding of glass, making bangles. All the men, women, children, all are engaged in this job only. Mukesh's family is among them. None of them know that it is illegal for children like him to work in the glass furnaces with high temperatures, in dingy cells without air and light. So, the working condition is dingy cell. Dingy means dark and foul smelling cells. And in those cells there are furnaces, high temperature. So how horrible, how terrible for their health it could be, particularly for children. And they are unaware that child labor is unlawful. If enforced, could get him and all those 20,000 children out of hot furnaces where they slog their daylight hours, often losing the brightness of their eyes. Means there are around 20,000 child laborers working in the bangle industry. And all these children as well as their parents are unaware that their children are doing something illegal. And if they come to know of it, that they can be freed from this hazardous job of bangle making. Mukesh's eyes beam as a volunteer. He volunteers to take me home, which he proudly says is being rebuilt. Means the author goes with Mukesh to visit his house. We walk down the stinking lanes. Now in the next lines, the area is being described. Stinking lanes. Stinking means foul smelling streets. Chalked with garbage. There is garbage everywhere. Past homes that remain hovels with crumbling walls. Means the houses, the condition of the house, the walls are crumbling, collapsing, falling. Wobbly doors, the doors are wobbly, not proper. No windows, there are no windows in the houses. Crowded with the families of humans and animals coexisting in primal state. Means in that small one room house, both the human beings and animals live together. And the condition of that house is also very poor. He stops at the door of one such house, bangs a wobbly iron door with his foot and pushes it open. We enter a half-built shack. That is not a home, that is not a house, it is a shack. Shack is made of grass. In one part of it, thatched with dead grass, is a firewood stove over which sits a large vessel of sizzling spinach leaves. Spinach leaves means there is a fire stove, and what is being cooked on that stove is spinach. On the ground, in large aluminium platters, are more chopped vegetables are also there. Cut vegetables. A frail young woman is cooking the evening meal for the whole family. Through eyes filled with smoke, she smiles. She is the wife of Mukesh's elder brother. She is the sister-in-law of Mukesh, who is there in the kitchen. There is not a separate kitchen. Means in one corner of the room, the meal is being cooked, and that part may be called a kitchen. Not much older in years, she has begun to command respect as the Bahu. She is the Bahu of the family. Daughter-in-law. Bahu means daughter-in-law. The daughter-in-law of the house, already in charge of 3 men, her husband, Mukesh, and their father. When the older man enters, she gently withdraws behind the broken wall and brings her veil closer to her face. She covers her face with the veil. Ghungat bolte hai na jisko. Because her father-in-law enters the room. As custom demands, daughters-in-law must veil their faces before male elders. As it is the custom in villages, still we can see that daughters-in-law cover their faces whenever the male members of the house come inside. In this case, the elder is an impoverished bangle maker. Means he is also a bangle maker. Despite long years of hard labor, first as a tailor, means earlier he was doing the work as a tailor, then a bangle maker. Later on he joined bangle industry. He has failed to renovate a house, send his 2 sons to school. Means he was so poor that he could not afford to renovate his house, to rebuild his house, and to send his children to school. All he has managed to do is teach them what he knows, the art of bangle making. So he taught his children the art of bangle making and asked them to join him in the job of bangle making. It is his karam. Karam means our action. His destiny, says Mukesh's grandmother. In the house there is grandmother of Mukesh also, who has watched her own husband go blind with dust from polishing the glass of bangles. Means grandfather of Mukesh became blind after spending his life in glass bowling industry. And her grandmother says that it is their destiny. It is in their bhagya. It is their karma that there is no other industry in Firozabad and they had to work in glass bowling bangle industry. Can a God-given lineage ever be broken? because God has given them birth in Firozabad, and there is only one industry in Firozabad, so it is God given lineage. Lineage here means God given profession. They have accepted it as their destiny. She implies born in the caste of bangle makers. So it is not their caste. Bangle makers is not a caste, but because they have been working in glass industries since ages, so they are called bangle makers. They have seen nothing but bangles in the house, in the yard, in every other house, every other yard, every street in Firozabad. It means that there is only one profession in Firozabad, and that is bangle making industry. Spirals of bangles, sunny, gold, paddy green, royal blue, pink, purple, every color born out of 7 colors of the rainbow, lie in mounds. Mounds means heaps. In unkempt yard. Unkempt means dirty yards of the houses. There are heaps of different colored bangles are piled. Piled again means heaped on 4-wheeled hand carts, pushed by young men along the narrow lanes of the shanty town. Again, this town where these people are living. They make the bangles in their houses as well as in the dingy cells before hot furnaces. Some tasks are done at home and some tasks are just like welding the glass. That is done only in the cells. And in dark hut men's, next to lines of flames of flickering oil lamps, sit boys and girls with their fathers and mothers, welding pieces of colored glasses into circles of bangles. Means even in their houses, all the members of the family are busy in soldering the pieces of different colored glasses to make bangles. Their eyes are more adjusted to dark than to light outside, because for maximum hours they work in the dingy cells, so they feel uncomfortable when they come in the sunlight. That is why they often end up losing their eyesight before they become adults. All the children, 20,000 we have earlier read in the story, 20,000 children are working in this bangle industry. And maximum of these children become partially or completely blind by the time they become adults, when they grow up. Savita, a young girl, in a drab pink dress, sits alongside an elderly woman soldering pieces of glass. Now the author meets another girl whose name is Savita. As her hands move mechanically like the tongs of a machine, I wonder if she knows the sanctity. Sanctity means purity. Bangles are pure. They are associated with good luck, good family life of the bangles, and she helps make. Means this small girl Savita does not understand what bangles means, but she is busy in making bangles. It symbolizes an Indian woman's suhag. The bangles are symbol of suhag, auspiciousness in marriage. It will dawn on her suddenly one day when her head is draped with red veil, her hands dyed red with henna, and red bangles rolled onto her wrists. She will come to know when she gets married. All these lines means when she gets married. She will then become a bride. Like the old woman beside her, who became one many years ago. Like the old woman became the bride many years back, similarly, after some years, this girl Savita will also become a bride and get married. She still has bangles on her wrist, That old lady is still wearing bangles, but no light in her eyes, but she is blind. एक वक्त से सैर भार खाना भी नहीं खाया, द ओल्ड women say, कि हमने कभी एक वक्त भर पेट खाना नहीं खाया. We have never enjoyed a full meal, a complete full meal a day. She says in voice drained of joy. Drained of joy means there is nothing like joy in their lives. She has not enjoyed even one full meal in her entire lifetime. That is what she has reaped. Her husband, an old man with a flowing beard, says, I know nothing except bangles. All I have done is make a house for the family to live in. And you all have already read what kind of house the author is talking about. It is not a house, it is just a shack. Hearing him, one wonders if he has achieved what many have failed in their lifetime. He has a roof over his head. Means there are still other people who do not even have this half-built or poorly managed house. So those people are lucky who have a roof over their heads. The cry of not having money to do anything except carry the business of making bangles, not even enough to eat, rings in every home. Means this is the plight of every house in Firozabad. This is the condition of every house in Firozabad. The young men echo the lament of their elders. Echo the lament of their elders means the young people follow the profession of their elders and they have also the same complaints. Laments means complaints. Little has moved with the time. It seems in Firozabad means nothing has changed. Years of mind-numbing toil. Toil means hard work. Mind-numbing means they have put so hard work in and they have earned so little. Have killed all initiative and the ability to dream. They have forgotten to dream of anything else in their lives, just to make bangles and to remain empty-stomached. Why not organize yourselves into a cooperative? The author asks. Why you all people not unite? I ask a group of young men who have fallen into the vicious circle of middlemen who trapped their fathers and forefathers. Means since ages people have been working in this field ununited. So the author here asks a question why these people do not unite themselves and earn a little more money. Even if we get organized, we are ones who will be hauled up by the police, beaten and dragged to jail for doing something illegal. The answer she gets is terrible. One of them gives answer कि if they try to unite, they are beaten by the police. They are caught by the police and put behind the prisons as if they have done something illegal. They say, there is no leader among them, no one who could help them see things differently. There is no one to help them. They all are equals. Their fathers are as tired as they are because they have lost all initiative in their life. They talk endlessly in spiral that moves from poverty to apathy to greed and to injustice. Poverty means these people, condition of these bangle makers. Greed and injustice means greed and injustice of those people who rule over these people. Whether they are police or they are politicians or they are bureaucrats or they are middlemen. Middlemen means who work between two persons. Middleman means who work between two persons. Listening to them, I see two distinct worlds. Distinct means apart from, very far apart from each other. One of the family caught in a web of poverty. One world is the world of the families, people living in Firozabad who are caught in this vicious circle of poverty, burdened by the stigma of caste. Caste, as I have earlier told you, it is not caste because they have been making bangles, so they are called bangle makers, in which they are poor. The one world is the world of these poor people, these destitutes. The other, dusra world, a vicious circle of shahukars. Shahukars means who lend them money. The middlemen, the policemen, the keepers of law, the bureaucrats and the politicians. All these are rich people who exploit them. These people, these rich people are united and they exploit the poor bangle makers. But the poor bangle makers cannot unite themselves. So these are the two worlds in the city of Firozabad. One is the world of people who are victims, who are exploited. And second is the world of the people who are culprits, who exploit other people. Together, they have imposed the baggage on the child that he cannot put down. Means on every child in Firozabad, they have put a burden on his shoulder. And what is that burden? Burden of making bangles. This is the stigma. Before he is aware, he accepts it as naturally as his father. By the time the child grows up, he accepts it that he has nothing except to become a bangle maker. To do anything else would mean to dare. To dare means to have courage, as the courage is shown by Mukesh in the beginning of the story. He showed courage that he does not want to work in bangle industry. He wants to become a motor mechanic. And daring is not part of his growing up. His growing up means every child is not daring. When I sense a flash of it in Mukesh, I am cheered. The author feels very happy when she sees a flash of dream in the eyes of Mukesh. I want to be a motor mechanic, he repeats. He will go to a garage and learn. But the garage is long way from his home. I will walk. The author asks him, the garage is very far away from your home. How will you go there and learn to drive a car and the job of a mechanic? He says, I will walk. He insists, do you also dream of flying a plane? He said, I want to drive a car. The title of the story is I want to drive a car. The author asks him if he would also want to fly a plane. What is the author? He answers, he is suddenly silent. No, he says, staring at the ground. No, I don't want to be a pilot. I want to drive a car only. In his small murmur, there is an embarrassment. And he feels embarrassed because he doesn't know what a plane is. Perhaps he has never seen a plane. That has not yet turned into regret. He is content to dream of car. He is satisfied to become a motor mechanic and drive a car. That he sees hurtling down the streets of town. Few aeroplanes fly over Firozabad because very less aeroplanes fly over the city of Firozabad.